Hey there, IT 140 students. So let's talk about the labs for Chapter 7. So first thing here in this 7.8 lab, we have a CSV file that contains just one line of text. So while it mentions using the CSV reader method, you don't necessarily need to do that here. In fact, my implementation is not going to do that. Um, Reason being is I don't need the overhead of this. I'm guaranteed that this is just one line of text, everything separated by a comma. What we want to do here is we want to read in the contents of this text, and then we want the ability to determine how many times each unique word is in this comma delimited list here. So for instance, hello, that's only in there once. Cat is in there twice, so there's cats and there's cat as well. That is different from capital C cat, which is only in there one time. So again, the file is going to be containing only one line of text. So let's talk about the implementation. So we need to read the file. So I'm going to use a with statement, just like we have in the zyBooks. So the file name is input1.csv. So you know that for sure here. And then I'm going to read the line of text from the file. So this is just going to be a read line. And what I need to do is create a list knowing that the string is comma delimited. So when I use the read line, I get the whole line here as a string. And so we have ways that we can turn that string that's comma delimited into a list. So, all I have to do is look in the zyBooks to get that right there. Once we have a list of the words, so this will have a list where we'll have hello and cat and man. Each of these they're going to be their own value in the list. I'm going to use a dictionary where the word is the key, and then the count how many times it's in this list is going to be the count. So we'll create our dictionary. We're going to loop through that list we have right here, and we need to check if the key is not already in the dictionary. So check if the key is not already in the dictionary. If it's not in the dictionary, then we're going to put that count with that value in the dictionary. And then at the end of this, you're going to have a dictionary that's going to have these key values and then these counts. And then all I have to do is loop through the dictionary and print the output. So once you get to here, that's a really simple, just print it out. Now, this is the ideal way to do this. We should make sure that when we're reading the contents of the file that we are opening it and doing something with the stuff, and we shouldn't print output right here. So that's why we are creating that list. And now I can loop through my list and I can accumulate my results to a dictionary, and then I can print the output. So that's why I've separated everything out as you see here. Okay, so now let's talk about lab 9. So we'll go over here to lab 9. We'll adjust that. So here we have a file that its contents look like this, where this is the number of seasons, this is a show. Number of seasons, name of a show, and so forth on down the line. On this, we have to first read in the name of an input file, so I better add that up to our list of things to do. Get the input file name. Let me just double check that real quick. And yes, indeed, we first thing we have to do is we have to read in the input. So you have to get the input file name. We've been getting console input for the whole term now. So get the input file name, and then we're going to read the file. Again, keep in mind that this is the format of the file right here. So what I suggest you do is use the read lines method, and what that does is you get a list back, and it would look something like this, where you have 20 and then Gunsmoke and then 30 and then The Simpsons and so forth on down the line here. Keep in mind that these are string values, okay? So these are string values. This 20, this 30 eventually will have to be treated as a number. I'm going to use a dictionary again for this implementation. And so the dictionary is going to be of the form seasons are the key, and then show is the value. And then I'm going to loop through all of the data that I read in right here, and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to create an index. So keep in mind this would be position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, and so forth. Well, we're going to loop through all of the data. So I'm going to loop while index is less than. I need to know how many values data contains. So we've got that in our zyBooks. We can find out how many values are contained in that list right there. So find that in the zyBooks. We're then going to get the number of seasons information. So seasons is the index right here. So this is going to start out, it's going to start at 0 right there. So we're going to have to get the seasons. Keep in mind that there's a blank here because this information is a string. We're then going to get the show name. So keep in mind that this is the next index. So if this is starting at position 0, this is one more from there. So we want the show name. And then we check in our dictionary like this. So if seasons is not in our dictionary already, then we're going to add that to the dictionary. So it would be again, seasons and show value. Otherwise, that means we've already got the number of seasons in our dictionary. And it's totally possible, like you see here, we've got 20 seasons of Gunsmoke. We have 20 seasons of Law and Order. What we have to do in the case when we display our output is to do something like this, where we're going to have a show name, and then we're going to separate the show names with a semicolon. So right here, when I say update the dictionary, here I just put it in the dictionary. Here I'm going to update it. So there's already a show name in there, and here I need to concatenate a semicolon, the space, and then the next show name as well. So again, we'll have that saved off to a variable right there. And then we need to increment the index. So the next time through, I want to be grabbing this index. So if we started at 0 here, what's our offset here? So this is 0, 1, 2. So our offset is 0 to 2. So we need to make sure we increment that index by 2 there. All right, so once we get through this right here, we're going to have a dictionary that's going to be containing all of these values. I'd have something like 20 in Gunsmoke, 30 with The Simpsons. Actually, I'd have 20 Gunsmoke, semicolon, Law and Order. 30 is going to have The Simpsons, 10 is going to have Will and Grace, and so forth. Well, we need that information sorted because we want to have the output to be printed in order of the number of seasons like this. So I've given you the code right here, sorted, give it the dictionary.items. This will sort that dictionary in order for us. And then we need to print the output to a file, and we need to output the results to a file named output_keys.txt. So once you have the dictionary here, all you have to do is loop through the dictionary and write to the file. And we've got plenty of code that does that. I didn't give that to you in here. The reading the file is a little bit more tricky. Writing this out to a file, all you have to do is do exactly what we've done in the zyBooks lesson. Okay, that's going to do it for this recording. As always, if you have questions, make sure that you reach out.